Hello everyone, Pastor Howie Maxon here, and I have some scriptures and readings from the Celtic Daily Prayer book. And so we begin with Psalm 84 verses 3 and 5. So we've been in Psalm 84 the past couple of days, just kind of bouncing around. And as I underline in my Bible, doing devotional readings, starting to fill in the in-between places with these different references. Then we're going to bounce back to Genesis chapter 28, verses 11 and 12. And then forward to the Gospel of John chapter 4, verses 34 to 36. So let's see what the Lord has for us today. Psalm 84, authored by the sons of Korah. Verse 3 says, "Even the sparrow has found a home, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young, a place near your altar, Lord Almighty, my King and my God." And so we know Jesus talked about how God cares for the birds of the air, the sparrows, and how much more does he care for us. So we see perhaps someplace that Jesus was referring to in Psalm 84, verse 3. So God cares for the birds of the air. He cares for the beasts of the earth. He cares for the fish of the sea, and he cares for us most particularly. So Psalm 8, again, I would remind you, questions. How is it that God, that you are mindful of and care for man, whom you have made a little lower than the angels, and yet crowned with glory and honor? And yet he does. He cares for all of his creation. We should care for his creation as well. And then Psalm 84, verse 5, "Blessed are those whose strength is in you, whose hearts are set on pilgrimage." So if the birds are comfortable making nests and raising young within the confines, the open altars of God, and God does not drive them away, blessed are we if we find all of our strength in God and set our hearts on pilgrimage. Pilgrimage. Now, pilgrimage is, that journey to a particularly holy place. But we are called to follow the way, the truth, and the life of Jesus Christ, which is in fact a lifelong pilgrimage to a sacred place called the new heavens and the new earth after Jesus returns and after the judgment day is past. So blessed are you if God is your strength. Blessed are you if your heart is set on this pilgrimage. Don't turn away. Don't be distracted. Genesis chapter 28, verses 11 through 12. This is about Jacob and Jacob's vision as he was fleeing his brother Esau to go back to his father's homeland. When he reached a certain place, he stopped for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones there, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep. Not a comfortable place, but he did the best he could. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth, with its top reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. God cared for Jacob. God cared for Esau. God cared for Jacob and prospered his journey, and gave him this vision which was motivating to him to not lose faith in God. And God doesn't always give us particular visions, but he certainly gives us the word, and he gives us the truth of what God did for Jacob. And so we can take heart that God also cares for us, that there are angels in our midst that we can't see, angels that perhaps minister to us when we're down, or even minister to us when we're worshiping God and joyful in our circumstances. But there is a connection. There's a connection between God. He's not a far-off God letting the earth run all by itself. He is as close as that veil of gossamer that the Celtic Christians talk about, which separates us in this world from the next world. to be absent from the body, Paul says, to be present with the Lord. There's no difference. There's no time lag. There's no long distance to travel. And so this is what Jacob saw. He saw the connection between heaven and earth and heaven, and the fact that God is connected with us and he cares for us, even in our wanderings, even in our discomfort, even in our wilderness experiences. And then in John 4:34 through 36, Jesus speaking to his disciples who have come back from going to get groceries in the town nearby, Sychar, I think was the name of the town, as Jesus was talking to the Samaritan woman at the well. And they implored Jesus to eat, but in verse 34, Jesus replies to them, "My food," said Jesus, "is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. Don't you have a saying, 'It is still 4 months until harvest'? I tell you, open your eyes and look at the fields. They are ripe for harvest. Even now the one who reaps draws a wage and harvests a crop for eternal life, so that the sower and the reaper may be glad together." And I say unto you, I mention to you our invitation to participate in the tent revival of upstate New York that's going to happen in July at the Governor's Fairgrounds. And one of the things that was said in the planning meeting that I attended on Monday was the harvest, the fields are white unto harvest. Now is the time for us to realize that our food, our sustenance is not in the grocery store, not in the restaurant. Our food, our real food and sustenance is doing the will of God. And the will of God for us is to follow the way and the truth and the life of Christ in this life, and to, through our witness, through our sacrifice, through our life following Christ, we are to shed the glory of the gospel of Jesus Christ to all those around us, especially during this time when there's so much anger, so much division, so much lostness around us. May we be the ones who take up what Jesus says and seek to find our sustenance in the satisfying end result of serving him first and foremost. And so that's what I have for you in the scriptures. And this is what I have for you to hear as I read to you a poem or a song written by Marjorie Milne of Glastonbury, rhymes from a Lindisfarne monk. And so here we go. He is my king. In my heart he's hid. He is my joy, all joys amid. I am a drop in his ocean hope, lost, his coracle eye on his wide sea tossed, a leaf in his storm. The book of his praise in my wallet slung, the cloak of his friendship round me flung, hither and thither about I'm blown, my way an eddy, my rest a stone, and he my fire, my meat his work, and my drink his will. He is my song, my strength, my skill, and all men my lovers in good and ill. Through him my desire. And so may we be followers of Christ. May we be faithful to trust in him even when the going gets rough, and it does from time to time. And may God get all the glory. May our friends see the light. May they hear the invitation to come to the light and follow the light to eternal life. So that's what I have for you today. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow.